interactions with Shirley. And that's what I was told that they wanted to hear about. So, some background. I come from a performing family. My dad had a PhD in music, was a concert pianist, organist, and taught voicing. He'd do anything, known a man when it comes to music. My mother was a vocalist, which is how they met. And then 3 kids. I was the last. They were 8 and 12 years older than me, and we all sang and danced. So when I was 3, my dad was doing a concert local in San Jose. I'm from San Jose. And he was introducing the family, and he said, this is my daughter Gayle. She likes to sing. Do you want to sing for the people? I said yes, if I could get a microphone. So they gave me a microphone. I only knew 2 songs, Jesus Loves Me and Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And I did Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and after about 5 choruses, they took the microphone away.
Just like
my dad was like, okay, this is good, little break from my concerts. So he used to travel the world. He played all the big cathedrals in Europe and stuff, and he said, I want to add her the act. My mother was like, no, she's not traveling. He goes, no, only if it's local. So she agreed to that, and he started working with me, and by the time I was 5, I had a whole lounge act, and when we were down here, I was about 6, somebody in the audience heard me, and he came to my dad and said, oh, I'm doing a kids record, and that's the voice I'm looking for, can I hire your daughter? So I did this record for him, and then it turned out he hired me from some more gigs, and then I had this incredible memory, which I would like to point out I do not have anymore. But they could sing me something, I could sing it back, they could record it, and we were done. They called me One Take Tessie. And, time is money. So I got a lot of work because of the word of mouth that I was very fast, and I was good enough. So then word spread that my dad was this phenomenal musician that also had recording equipment. So they could send him the music, and he could record the track, record me, send it back, and they were really saving a lot of money. So I got a lot of work because of that. But my parents, like Shirley's, were very protective over me. And if it was professional work, we did not use my real name, so it's not traceable. And since mostly I did work at home in San Jose, nobody could find me, which was great, because in that business, parents of performing children can be a bit ruthless, and if your child has taken their child's job, they think it can be nasty. So I was out of that. Plus, I never had to leave school. I didn't have to miss parties and anything because we could record whenever I wanted to. And the other thing they told me was, do not tell people that you do this. People are weird and they'll treat you differently, and just don't tell people. So I didn't. And working with other professional kids throughout my life, when they were not working, they would go to school, and kids being kids were mercilessly teasing them and bullying them and what have you. And it was out of jealousy, but still, it's just really hard as a kid. And I didn't have that. So I could be in the car or watching TV with friends, and hot dogs, armor hot dogs would come on the radio. I didn't get teased because they didn't know that was me. So it all worked out really good for me. So I had been a Shirley Temple fan probably from 4 or 5. My mother liked old movies and always had her playing, and our local station had a Shirley Temple festival every Saturday. I think some of you already mentioned a bunch of movies on Saturday. And I was planted there every week. I would get mad when it was stand up and cheer because she wasn't in that very much.
Same! Oh my gosh, yes!
I know, I would get very angry about that. So when I was, my mother would tell me, she's not a little girl anymore. She's a grown-up woman, she has children your age, not a little girl. And I knew it. When I was 7, she came to me and said, guess what? Shirley's gonna be on Mitch Miller tonight. Well, I was beside myself with excitement. And the show started. They had pictures of young Shirley all over the stage. The singers were singing all her songs. And then out came this short, dark-haired, slightly chubby lady. And my mother was like, oh, there she is. And I was not having that, because that was not Shirley. And first meltdown, completely inconsolable. They had to turn the television off. My family never saw it. And you can find this now on YouTube, and it's completely fabulous and delightful. She's so wonderful in the show, and I feel so bad that my family never got to see that. So then when I'm 8, there's an ad for a kid to play Shirley Temple. And it was not a professional, it was just a local little thing, unpaid gig, but I wasn't doing anything else at the time. They know how much they loved her, so they said, yeah, take her for audition. So we went up there, and I went in the room, and they talked to me for a while, and then they said, do you know any Shirley Temple songs? I said, well, I know them all, which one would you like? And they said, well, sing anything other than a lollipop song, because we've kind of heard that a lot. So I decided to sing Swing Me an Old-Fashioned Song from
Little Miss Broadway.
And I went like this. Don't stop singing, gentlemen. Won't you sing a song for me?
Oh, I'm afraid you wouldn't like those numbers that we sing.
Why?
People don't like them nowadays, all they want to do is...
And I did the whole thing, both parts all the way through. So, I got the job. And I think it was because it became evident that I did in fact know all the songs, and they weren't going to have to teach me anything. And again, I was just good enough. So we had just a couple weekends in Palo Alto, and one night Shirley was in the audience unbeknownst to us. And afterwards, we're standing around backstage. This lady came in the room and she congratulated everybody. She came to me, she gave me a hug and a kiss, and she goes, you were just wonderful. And then she left, and I'm standing there, and nobody's saying anything. And I went, who was that? My mother was just like... So, after she explained to me who it was, that was meltdown number 2, because I did not talk to her, and I was so upset with myself. The next year, they called, they said, we're doing this, want to come do it again. This show actually ended up in New York years later. I don't think it was very successful, but it did get there, and I think this was when they were just trying to figure out how to do it. It was a compilation of all her musical numbers. So there was a guy playing Bill Robinson and somebody playing, you know, it was fun. And once again, unbeknownst to us, she was there and came in afterwards. Now I know who this is. And she said the same thing. She came up to me, hug and kiss, and she goes, oh, you were even better this year. Now I want her to know that I know who she is. So I said, thank you very much, Shirley Temple Black. And she says, oh, you're so welcome, Gayle Greenbrook. And she hung around a little bit this time, and then she left. So years go by, and she writes a book, and she's signing the book, so my mother and I go, and I finally this time we had cameras with us, because you know in '63 you didn't have phones, you didn't have a camera on you all the time. But we did take cameras, and I finally got a picture with her, and I didn't say anything, and the thing I remember most is when she oh hi, when she handed me my book, she went, there you go, and it was just so Shirley that my heart just sunk. I couldn't even say anything, and we left, and my mother's like, why didn't you tell her you were that little girl? I'm like, yeah. So then more time goes by, and I'm now teaching all the time, and I have this performing group, Tap Explosion. And we're doing shows, and I had her address, and I thought, I wrote a letter, put some tickets in an envelope, and I drove it to his house, put it in the mailbox. I did not knock on the door and bother her, but just left him there. Then the next day, I'm sitting on my couch, and phone's ringing, but I'm like, I don't talk to anybody right now. And then I hear on my answering machine,
hi, Gayle. This is Shirley Temple Black in California, and I'm calling to say that I got your nice letter.
That's when I picked up the phone. I've never seen anybody move so fast to pick up the phone. And then unlike my polite 8-year-old self, I like, Shirley? And she goes, Gayle? And so we talked about tap dancing and Bill Robinson, and she couldn't come, and so I kind of remember it, but not so much. I was just so shook. And hung up, and then I stood there and I was thinking, was that really? And then I saw the light flashing, and I realized I had that little clip. So I know, okay, it did happen, it was her. So the next year came, and I decided to try one more time. So I wrote a letter, put it together, to her house, and now we have a cell phone. So I'm at the dance studio, and I told the kids, if you hear my phone ring, please let me know, because it might be Shirley Temple. And sure enough, the phone rings, I answer it, it's her, and we're talking, and she says, where are you? And I said, in San Jose. She goes, no, I know that, but it sounds like you're in a dance studio. And I said, oh, I am, I'm in class. And she goes, no, just don't forget that sound, do you? And again, we talked about Bill Robinson and stuff, and I said, you're not going to remember this, but back in 1963, I played you in a little local show in Palo Alto, and you came, and she goes, I knew this name was familiar. And then she goes, I gave John 2 charms to give you. And I said, oh, he did. He put them on a bracelet with my name, and I still wear it, but he did not tell me they came from you.
Wow.
And her response to that was, men. So anyway, yes, I still have it, still wear it, and treasure it deeply. Then more years go by. I have a tap luminary from Boston. She was in our show. Her name's Diane Walker. And we were in the car, it was late at night, driving along, talking about Shirley and talking about Bill Robinson. And she says, I really want to interview her about Bill. And I said, well, we can arrange that, but she's not getting any younger. I could do it soon. And she said, well, let me see if I can rearrange my schedule. And about a minute later, my whole body started burning. And I just had the strangest sensation all throughout me, and I was pretty shaky, and then I said, I don't know how I'm going to react when she goes. The next morning, Diane was in the shower. I turned my phone on, and I had all these texts from friends. I'm so sorry to hear about Shirley. I know how much you loved her. I ran to the computer, and in fact, she had passed. And I'm banging on the bathroom door, and Diane comes, she's soaking wet, got a towel wrapped around her, and I'm going, she's gone, she's gone, she's gone. It's like, ooh. And then she just told me that was my 3rd meltdown, inconsolable, and now I know how I'm going to react when she goes. But I just keep thinking about the night before, when she was clearly in her final hours, that I got that sensation. And I feel that because she'd been a part of my life since I can remember, the universe kind of let me know that something was up. And I've just never forgotten that. So now we talk about tap dancing. So you know tap is an American art form. There's, I believe 3. Barbershop singing, jazz music, and tap dancing. And I brought my friend Melissa. Now I'm going to be very honest. Melissa and I just spent a week in, what was it? Stockholm, Sweden, at the International Tap Festival. And there were 45 countries represented, close to 500 dancers, and we had 4 or 5 classes a day, and our brains are gone because we have so much material in them. And my original plan was to do a Bill Robinson piece, the a cappella section of the Military from Poor Little Rich Girl, and Fifth Avenue from Young People, with a little solo that she does. And that is new. It's only recently pulled that off the tape, and as I was trying it these last couple of days, it was not happening, and I'm not going to do it if I can't do it right. So I promise you what I will do is, because I love it, I will get it, I will film it and put it on the website, and I'll put all of me. I get complaints about I'm always trying to feed. So I will put all of it, and I will put that there. So in the meantime, we're going to do something else instead of that one. But Shirley Temple has a step named after her, and this is recent. I grew up with this step. It's a very common step, and it's one that children love to do. And I grew up knowing it as a rhythm roll. Melissa knew it as a New Yorker or Manhattan. And recently it's being called the Shirley Temple. And in Europe, it's a Shirley Temple. That's all there is to it. And one of the classes, one of the masters we had, somebody said something about, that's a Shirley Temple. And he goes, why are we calling this a Shirley Temple? That girl never did this step. Which is true, I don't think she ever did that particular step. But in talking with him later and another colleague, we said, really what it is we wanted to honor her. And we picked a step, or somebody picked a step that is common children love, and it's now totally catching on, and I think everywhere I hear now, this is the Shirley Temple. So, here's that step. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and... Heyday was vaudeville. That's where it really got honed into what we do today. And then, of course, movie musicals in the 30s and 40s. In the 50s and 60s, it was gone. And I mean gone, dead. And I think there was one person, and if you're old like me, you might be able to guess who that is, what we could see weekly tapping on TV. Anybody know? Lawrence Welk, Arthur Duncan. So Arthur Duncan was the only person that we could see tapping. So along came a gentleman that had grown up dancing, and he, in the 70s, early 70s, he was wondering what happened. Where are these guys? Where are they all? And started digging them up, and then the whole resurgence and the Renaissance started, and tap right now is huge. As I said, we were just at this festival, and the people that are doing professional companies and stuff are really successful, and it's really good right now. But that guy was Gregory Hines. And Gregory, I got to work with Gregory, and so I thought you might enjoy a Gregory step. So, I'm going to put it down this time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So that was Gregory. Totally nice guy, by the way. He was a nice guy. Miss him dearly. Ken Arthur Duncan. Arthur Duncan also got to work with him. Super nice man. We just lost him last year or two. And he taught me this Bill Robinson routine. The music is old. It's, old kind of style. But it's doing the New Lowdown, which was Bill Robinson's signature song. do is that a cappella section from Poor Little Rich Girl. I love the military.
Man. Oh, nurse.
I love the military.
Nurse.
Which is a fabulous number, by the way. But this is the little section in the middle that they did a cappella. Oh, how's it go? Sort of shuffle. Yeah, 1, 2.